I always thought it is strange that the sector of pharmaceuticals is one that is usually for profit. Does this mean that the profit and loss formula controls the decision of what medicine to produce, even for cancer medication?
They wanted to put me to prison, and they wanted to steal some of my patents.
A lot of people believe that there's a cure for cancer, but it's not true.
Why do ideas spread when there is proof against them?
There is a cure for cancer, and that's been known about for a long time.
Has crashed into one of the towers.
It's a very provocative subject that allows folks to gain followers.
You could make a fortune if you had a cure for cancer.
If they discovered a single person, that's a different story.
Could this mean that in order to make more money, they suppress the discovery of cheap and effective cures for cancer? I am human, so deep down in my gut I have the fear of death. Fear for my death to an extent, and an extreme fear for the death of those I love. A few years ago, someone who is dear to me was diagnosed with cancer, and death became very near. This pushed me to search for any cure or treatment that could help. I found that much has been said about this. There are people who claim they have been cured by non-institutional or alternative cures. There are others that claim that the pharmaceutical companies have the cure for cancer, but they hide it in order to continue profiting billions of dollars every year from those who live with the disease. So in brief, this hypothesis claims that an effective cure for cancer, institutional or not, is not in the pharmaceutical company's best interest because of profit. And this claim is not suspicious of a company or two. The suspect here is the entire health institution globally. It is a dangerous accusation which requires inspection and proof. In my research, I met Dr. Stanislav Burzynski, one of the doctors that claimed to have presented a cure for cancer outside the traditional institutional system, and he says that the system fought against him.
In 5 of the patients with brain tumors, the tumor disappeared. It's impressive and unbelievable.
It says here that you have been successfully curing cancer since the 1980s.
Well, yes, we are specializing in treatment of terminal cancer. We see people coming to us from all over the world, and the main thing is that they were told by their doctors that there's nothing that can be done for them. The cause of cancer are mutated genes, from about 80 to 650 mutated genes, which form a program which tells the body how to make cancer. We are identifying these genes and we treat them. And the medications which I discovered, they are able to treat over 150 common genes. And you can get rid of tumors and patients can live happy ever after.
Sounds like you basically cured cancer. Can you tell me what was the response of the medical community to your treatment?
I went through something like 35 years of quote-unquote war with very powerful organizations. So they wanted to put me to prison for 270 years so they can steal my patents. And finally, about 4 years ago, we won, and I believe that we are beginning a peaceful millennium. The question is, who is the discoverer? If the discoverer will be one of the largest pharmaceutical companies, then it will go right away. If the discoverer is a single person, who came to the United States with $5 of his possessions and built his own research center, pharmaceutical factory, and a clinic. Well, that's a different story.
According to the World Health Organization, Arab countries show a steep rise in the number of cancer patients. In 2012, there was more than 1 million deaths caused by cancer in the Arab world. And the region is expected to see an 80% increase in the number of patients between the years 2020 and 2030. Millions of people need an effective cure for cancer, a cure which some argue there is a conspiracy to hide. A conspiracy so huge that some people argue it would not stay secret for long. One of these people is David Robert Grimes.
Do you think there is a cover-up to hide an effective cure for cancer?
A lot of people believe that there's a cure for cancer being suppressed by big pharma because they'd lose all the money that they get treating people. And they'll postulate all sorts of strange things they claim cure cancer that aren't profitable for big pharma. It's a nice story, but it's not true. Cancer isn't one disease. Cancer is a family of over 200 known diseases, some of which respond to radiation, some respond to chemotherapy. They're all very different because they're all mutations of different types of cells. So the idea of a single magic bullet for cancer is a bit misguided. Secondly, you could make a fortune if you had a cure for cancer. Half the people in the world will eventually get cancer. If you're selling something to half the people in the world, it's highly profitable. And you can, absolutely.
I'm sorry, can I just interrupt you there? Did you just say that half of the people of the world will eventually get cancer?
Essentially, if you live long enough, you roll a genetic dice. Every day you live, you roll a little chance of getting cancer. If you live long enough, your odds on getting cancer go up. It's not that the world is becoming more carcinogenic. We're getting cancer because we're living longer.
I must say, I like the fact that you use statistics to support your argument. From that perspective, if there is indeed a conspiracy to hide a cure for a variety of cancers, how long will it take the world before such a conspiracy is uncovered?
I actually looked a few years ago at the probability of being able to keep huge conspiracies quiet. I also looked at cancer. And when I crunched through the mathematics of that, at best, if everyone was on board with the conspiracy theory, there are so many people you would need. Everyone who works in drug development for cancer, everyone who treats cancer from an oncological point of view, and pretty much everyone in the pharmaceutical industry. That goes to millions of people before you do too much effort. That even if everyone was as good a secret keeper as the National Security Agency in America, you would at best get maybe 2 or 3 years before the whole thing was out of the bag.
In the face of such a mathematical impossibility, why does such a narrative persist for so many years?
I think this is a story that people tell themselves to give themselves a feeling of power. But I think all the evidence is so blazingly against it.
Why do ideas spread when there is proof against it?
Because sometimes spreading an idea is just easier than confronting the truth.
You want to say it's laziness?
Sometimes it is laziness. Other times we choose to believe that certain things are bigger than our ability to change them.
That's laziness.
It's mind-boggling. Information travels, true or false.
إنه الخلايا السرطانية تعيش على السكر، يعني غذائها الرئيسي هو السكر.
I'm going to start treating it with cannabis oil.
It travels among people. People who know what they are talking about. And people who have no idea, but are emotionally invested. But facts are not something you can pick and choose from, like a suit you want to wear. After I talked to Grimes, I read an article for him where the conspiracy theory of the hidden cure of cancer is described as the zombie theory. It never dies no matter how many times you kill it. Maybe people believe in such theories because they lost faith in the system, or because they want to hold on to hope, especially the patients themselves. Maybe someone who went through the experience can explain why this myth lives. Glenn Savin is a cancer survivor and coach who may have answers.
Why do you think the rumor of a cancer cure cover-up is so pervasive?
I think it's two parts. One is that it's a very provocative subject that allows folks to gain followers to, communicate about these various kind of conspiracy theories. So the other issue, it's the lack of education on the part of patients who are just not seeking their knowledge from the most reputable sources. It's not to say that there's bad actors in pharma. There certainly have been, but if there's cancer cures, then they would be out there and available to the public.
Some people say that the medication for cancer, like chemotherapy and radiotherapy, are as toxic as the disease itself.
One of the things that folks that maybe align with this conspiracy thinking have to do with the fact that different chemotherapeutics, different drugs, and radiation oncology creates a pro-cancer environment that's really important for the host, the patient that's undergoing these therapies, to be well protected. There's a lot of things that patients can do to get through these toxicities with less of these terrible side effects and even potentially reducing the long-term side effects. That is not communicated as well as it should be.
So what can you tell me about cancer cure research? Is there an effective cure in sight?
There is a cure for cancer, and that cure has been known about for a long time. And that's called prevention. Healthy, clean eating, movement, stress reduction, restorative sleep, being aware of your environment. All these things play a major factor in allowing cancer to present itself.
What Glenn said means that prevention from cancer is possible by following a healthy lifestyle to avoid illness in general. There are also strange recipes some people claim that can help reach the same end.
A third of cancers can actually be prevented by healthy lifestyle behaviors that we do have control over.
Dip half a lemon in baking soda. This combination is effective in the ongoing struggle against cancer.
Easy anti-cancer protocol, and that is the baking soda and maple syrup.
And there are others who came up with strange explanations about the causes of the disease. I decided to go back to David and ask him.
Hey, David, I need to ask you a few more questions, if you don't mind. They're concerning the cancer cure claims. Some people claim that cancer is a fungus and they can cure it with sodium bicarbonate. Is that true?
Cancer is most definitely not a fungus. You can look at cancer cells under a microscope. They are very much human. Cancer is you, just a really warped version of you. It is not a fungus, which is an entirely different species. So the idea that you can treat cancer like it's a fungus is unfortunately incredibly misguided and can harm patients.
I read also once that there was this woman who claimed that she cured her cancer by daily injections of vitamin C.
Linus Pauling won 2 Nobel Prizes, one in chemistry and one as a Peace Prize. And in the 70s, he became obsessed with the idea that vitamin C could cure the cold, that it could cure cancer, that it could cure AIDS, everything. The problem is he was wrong. But because he was so famous and well-renowned, this has become a myth that won't die. Unfortunately, vitamin C does not cure cancer. In fact, vitamin C doesn't even work for colds.
So these are the myths of the cures. There are other myths of the causes, like some people claim that deodorants and microwave ovens can cause cancer.
The X-rays, the gamma rays, they have the ability to ionize. What that means is they can remove an electron from your chemical bonds. And when they do that, that can cause damage to your DNA, which can eventually become cancer. But the lower energy forms of light, like visible light and microwave, cannot do that. It doesn't have the ability to ionize. So it doesn't cause cancer. Now, do deodorants cause cancer? Well, this has been studied quite a bit too. And most of the data, in fact, all of the solid data we have on this says no, they do not.
So basically, you make it sound as if there is no healthy diet or lifestyle that can actually protect you from cancer.
If you have a healthy diet, if you're not obese, if you're not drinking too much, alcohol, for example, is a carcinogen. Obviously, if your general health is good, you're rolling that dice of causing harm a little bit less. But again, we have to remember that cancer is largely probabilistic. You can live the healthiest, purest lifestyle and still get cancer.
For sure, there are many conspiracies in the world. Sometimes questionable people get together and plot something malicious. But any claim that there is a conspiracy without a clear proof is just empty words. There may be countless delusions that one could believe, but still, there is always only one truth. In ancient Egypt, the sky in the day was called Nut, and at night it was called Mut. Some say that this is the source of the words Mot in Arabic and Mortem in Latin, that mean death. But death in ancient Egypt had a different meaning, linked to the sunset. There is a sunrise later, it's a cycle, and this I see as the only truth about life.